Okay, hi guys. Today I'm going to show you how to do a block for the knit, starting from your basic block for woven. If you want the documentation, it's available on my site on full scale. So first you're going to trace a center line side to side, and you're going to place your front bodice right next to the line, and you're going to trace the neck until the dart and the waist until the dart also, and do a little dot to indicate the apex. Alright, when you're done, you're going to take your square or your ruler and square a line at the waist level, side to side also. It's going to help you place your back bodice after and do the next move. So you remember I trace until the notch, so now what I want you to do is move your block on the waistline to close the dart but parallel. So when your block is in position, you're going to trace your side seam, and you could do dotted line for the armhole because it will change for sure, just as a reference. And I'm going to ask you to mark again the apex of your block. The new apex will be exactly in the middle of the old one and the new one. So you find the middle point. I know there's no dart on the knit block, but it's a good reference when you do your style line to have the apex area. The next step is going to be to elongate the side seam, because usually for knit we want a tighter fit, so tight around the arm also. So you're going to extend it 3 centimeters to go closer to your arm. You're going also to elongate the first part of the shoulder until you reach, I would say, a centimeter shorter than your basic block. My basic block is 12, so my new shoulder is going to be 11, so a centimeter smaller. You could already trace your new armhole, but don't do the final line yet. Of course, the shape is going to remain pretty much the same. Just as a guide, you could say you're going to touch the basic armhole about at the first third. Like I said, it's not your final line, because your next step is going to be to trace a line square from your center front, touching the underarm point. And then you square down. From that underarm point, you square down. Okay, as a block, I'm going to make it all the way to the hip level. So my hip is at 21 centimeter. 21 centimeter. And I square. The last thing you have to do is to soften the side seam, so a little bit round at the waist, and then it's curving outside. You could also use your French curve, but it has to be really soft. So when you have your shape, the block is almost done. When you have your shape, you put your seam allowance, and we'll use the front side seam to trace the back side. For the back, it's pretty much the same, so I'm going to put it on the other side of the line. Same thing, I'm tracing from the neck point to the first notch, waist until the first notch, and you push it towards the center until you close the waist dart, and you trace just as a reference. When you're done, you elongate the side seam, same thing that you did on the front, so 3 centimeters. This is up 3. And like I said, you just use your side seam of the front and report it on the side seam of the back. I'm going to cut on the middle line right now. Usually for knit, the seam allowance is about 0.7 because we're using a 4-thread overlock. Only the 2 curved line that you're not tracing. I'm going to trace my hip line for the back. And then place the block right over until I touch my 3 centimeter up point. And then you could retrace your side seam. So they're gonna match per shoulder line. I'm going to place my shoulder one next to the other and finish tracing my armhole. So you see my blue line right here. So it has to continue for the back, touching the raise point. So next thing you should do is measure your armhole. They should be pretty much the same. So for my size 10, they're about 21 centimeter more or less, and 21. They could be exactly the same. You could have also a little difference of 0.5, it's no problem, but not more than that. If you want to enlarge the neck, you keep them both together like that. Basic block needs an opening, but t-shirt, they don't need opening. So you could already enlarge your neck at least 1 centimeter, I would say. So usually the placement of the notch is the first third from the underarm point. So that would be my front notch, and the first third from the underarm point, 1 and 2. Maybe it's a good idea to keep a notch at the waist level on back and front, and your block is done.